Welcome to another episode of I Quit My Job. In today's episode, it's all about going from the ordinary to the extraordinary. And we have an amazing guest with us, Jackie or JJ. And she's done something amazing in terms of working for a corporate job, doing makeup, succeeding in her job. And then one day she decides to change it all. It's all about determination. It's all about continuing to strive for what it is that you want. At a later point in their life,
Yep.
her early 40s, she decided to make that change. So let's welcome Jackie and let's hear all about her story. Thank you for showing up.
You.
It's a
Thanks for
pleasure.
having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm excited to hear all the stories and things that you've been through and how you've kind of like would inspire somebody to make that same change. And what I'd like you to do is just kind of get us all caught up to this moment of where you are right now from who you are, just a brief, and then we'll go through the journey with you.
Who I am is a brief. I don't think that's a brief
It's not a brief, huh?
thing. It isn't. I'm a person who I think I've always said I'm a person who wears many hats.
Right,
So whether it's because of my past career, my new career, my interests, my communities, who I am as a person,
right.
I used to live and breathe wherever I do live and breathe, wherever I am in the moment.
Right,
So I don't know if I can really be brief about who I am, but right now, I'm Jackie here doing a podcast. I always thought I was going to be in the arts.
right.
I went to art school, thought I was going to be a fashion designer. And in that world, I was led into makeup. And makeup turned into corporate, and corporate turned into misery. And I had to rediscover where joy was living inside my world. And it turned out to be in interior design.
Was it a dream job to be in interior design? Was it a dream job to be in your makeup? But like, what was the deal with that?
Well, here's the defining thread, and that's color,
Hmm.
right? And when you have color in your life, on your face, on your clothes, in your home, there's a certain sense of joy that just comes with. So I feel as though I have threaded my life along
Hmm.
in some way, shape, or form
Right.
where color is brought back into your life.
Okay. Okay. So color is the theme. So right now, what would be the color that's like representing how you feel?
So I really believe in like spitting out the color that comes to mind the minute you say the word, and
Right.
it's yellow.
Yellow.
And yellow is like core, gut feeling. It's a sort of a core color,
Right.
and it's the hub color.
It's the hub color.
It's the
When you say
color
that, what is
between.
that?
It's the color between all colors. When you look at a rainbow,
Right.
you start with yellow,
Right.
you go into the cool tones,
Right.
green, blue, purple, or you start with yellow and you go into those warm, fiery tones. Yellow is sort of where everything starts.
Yellow starts everything. So let's go back to when everything was like beautiful inside of like your corporate job. When did you start to see it crack?
Beauty was that I had the dream job. When I thought about the actual job itself, I was doing everything I wanted to do. I was being artistic, I was doing makeup, I was planning and marketing and training and creating beautiful things, but most importantly, I was showing other people and other artists how to be the best version of themselves.
Right, right,
So, I wasn't just producing amazing work, in my opinion.
right.
I was showing others and elevating others, like, how can they make amazing work?
Right, right,
And so a big part of my thing was my ability to educate and communicate, like, how to get better, how to do better, how to elevate themselves. Most makeup artists are
mhm,
freelancers.
right.
And if you're a freelancer, it's all about what you put out there. So if I could teach them to put out something better, they were going to succeed. And that was the beautiful part of my job.
Right.
The not so pretty part of the job is generally, and they say this all the time, good jobs are ruined by bad bosses.
Mhm.
And I had a bad boss.
And you figured you had a bad boss.
I knew I had a bad boss.
That's a nice name too, bad boss.
Bad boss. I knew, and I knew from the beginning, but I also was tricked into thinking that was normal.
Mm.
And bad bosses are normalized in corporate structure.
Within this like corporate structure, you've been there 13 years, you're doing great work. It wasn't happening no more for you. What was that moment? There had to be a moment.
I leaned on my family and my friends and my past coworkers for an answer to this question. What was the moment?
What was that moment?
And my sister said it perfectly.
Uh-huh.
She's like, girl, it was a death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, snaps.
I was like, oh,
She must have.
there wasn't one thing. It was almost decades of things.
Right.
And it was just an unbelievable amount of toxicity that pummeled me from every direction. So it didn't matter how amazing my sales were.
Right.
Top
Right.
educator, top producer, top sales, top department. It didn't matter. All those years, I always had the top. None of it mattered. The corporate measurables are the things that are supposed to matter the most.
Right.
Didn't matter in the way that I was treated.
Oh, wow.
Just keep producing,
Wow.
but I'm going to torture you along the way.
So with that, right? So you identify with the company. You're just almost like the brand for that company.
Yep.
So when did it happen that you lost yourself? Like, how did you feel about that, losing yourself with the identity of that brand?
This was probably the hardest thing to reconcile
Hmm.
during and after. And people, my peers and people I respected in the industry were like, you are the brand. Like when I think about the brand, I think of Jackie. And I was like, ooh, is that what I want? Am I losing myself when I'm being faced with it? When the mirror is being shown to me, I am not really loving what I see.
Right.
I don't like when I hear that
Right.
because I am more than just my job. So when I realized that I was losing myself, I realized it was the loyalty. The loyalty had actually become the problem.
Hmm.
I was so loyal to the brand aesthetic, the brand, the mission statement. I was so loyal to the brand that I was protecting them
Right. Right.
and I wasn't protecting myself anymore.
So that was the next part. Like, how did you protect yourself? Like, how did you feel like you weren't being protected?
Yeah, like I said, I spent more time and I used to actually use these words
Mhm.
when people would ask like, "Hey, is that normal that your boss is treating you like?" And I
Oh,
would
so your
say,
coworkers would say that?
"Oh, everybody knew."
So,
But you don't ruffle feathers.
but were they doing that within the constraints of their work? Or do you think it was something personal?
I think both within the way a business, a company, a corporation should behave,
Right.
as well as how it looked from a personal point of view. Like you would never let your friend treat you like that.
Mm.
You would never let your family member treat you like that. Why are you letting the place where you work treat you like that in
Hmm.
exchange of money?
Hmm.
They're paying me, so I let them treat me like that.
Right. Right.
And so then now everybody is on eggshells, letting yourself be treated like that because there's an exchange of money. I
Right.
am letting you torture me.
Wow. So for someone listening to this who's also been so loyal to their company, they're protecting every minute of that company. What would you say to them who wants to they're now feeling the pinch? They're now seeing some of the things that you mentioned is now happening to them. What would you say to them right now?
Trust your gut.
Right.
Look for yellow. Look for the yellow, that gut feeling.
Hmm.
Whatever you think is happening is probably happening.
Right.
And the sooner you look at it as the red flag that it is, the sooner you can compartmentalize it. The longer you let it go on, that red flag it kind of becomes a blindfold
Hmm.
and you start to tolerate and normalize
Hmm.
all of the things that early on told you something's not right here.
Right. Your loyalty's there. How did you explain to them that you're leaving? Like how did that go down?
It went down in a ball of fire. The short story of it would be, so in the beginning, it was it was a micro department. And so I had to absorb a lot of what was going on
Right.
in order to protect the brand, protect the company, and protect others.
Right.
But down the road, as your department gets bigger, more eyes are on the abuse and on the toxicity within the workplace.
Wow.
And they start going, this is not normal. And then you have to look at yourself and say to yourself, why are you protecting
Hmm.
a company? They're not they're the ones profiting off of you being
Yeah.
tolerant. And so when you collectively finally make that decision, let's create change,
Right.
you have to look at it and say, is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse?
Mhm.
And we all knew it was going to get worse. And that's how you really knew
Right.
something had to happen and something had to change.
Wow. So then you left. So you left that safety net. Was it a mutual respect? Were you feeling better when you left?
I was the embodiment of terrified.
Mm.
I had stayed for the love of the job. The security that eventually came, well, I'm working on my pension, I've got healthcare, I've got all the things that you think you need, but I had zero happiness. I was a shell of myself.
Right.
So you hit that point, you leave, and all you're looking at is this empty shell
Mm-hmm.
that now doesn't have a paycheck.
Right. Right.
So, how do you reconcile what you've just thrown away and you're empty? So, I had to start to fill my cup again.
Right.
And I immediately started to look at bringing joy back into my life. I had to fill myself back up again. Like, who
Right.
was I
Right. Right.
before I was so brought so low?
So this emotional fallout that you're having or experiencing right now, what was that first day like? What was that like? Knowing
Um,
that now you've quit, now you got to build back yourself up, like you said. What were some of the things like? Did you know where you were gonna go next? Like, how did all that?
I think the part that a lot of us have done but don't talk about is those first couple days that you spend in bed in fetal position going, what have I done? And the people that I talk to that have made these massive changes as well, we all talk about those first days and weeks
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have a schedule, you don't know what to do with yourself. The fear is crippling. So if you don't have some sort of safety net,
Right.
if you don't have your therapist appointment set up,
Right.
if you don't have friends and family checking in on you, if you're doing this alone,
Mm-hmm.
that journey is going to be so much harder. However, if you see yourself, you're like, I'm about to dive off a cliff. What can I put at the bottom to help me
Right.
survive the fall?
Right. So how was your support system in that? Like, your first day, like you said, you could be curled up in bed. Everybody's been through that position where they've left something based on personal reasons. It's never really work related, but it's a personal field. They've had enough.
Absolutely.
So how was your support system?
When you have a network of friends and family and even, coworkers who've watched this thing happen for so long,
Hmm.
they're both afraid for you. They don't know you in any other context. You're always Jackie, the makeup artist, Jackie that works for the brand. So
Right.
they don't even know any other version of you.
Right. Right.
But they also are so ready for you to walk away from something so terrible.
Mm.
You walk away and they are cheering you on.
Right.
They have been waiting for this day. So they were ready, and so was my therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
So how about you though?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Knowing that yeah, you have the support, but sometimes it takes a while for you to, understand where that support is coming from.
I can honestly say the first thing you're looking for is validation.
Mm.
And so I am seeking out validation because I am personally on my own not handling it well.
Right.
Tell me I've done the right thing.
Right.
Validate me.
Right.
Tell me this was the right move. Tell me I blew it all up for a reason. And once you receive that validation, you just need somebody to tell you it's going to be okay. You did the right thing. This was the right move. Once you get that, you can start to move on. I was ashamed that I let it get that far.
Right.
And I think the validation sort of showed me it's okay to feel this way. And shame is a useless tool. That's your ego talking. Who cares about what you left behind? Who cares about if you're going to be broke for a little while?
Right.
Do the thing to get you somewhere better.
You're like, okay, what am I going to do with myself? You decided to learn something new at 46 and jumped into it.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I have to give credit where credit is due.
Right.
Um, the very first thing my therapist did was connect me with a career coach. And I wasn't really ready to have that conversation. I was like, my whole life had been this one industry. How can I possibly exist somewhere else?
Right.
Again, my identity as not just a part of the brand, but as a person was Jackie the makeup artist,
Right.
Jackie the educator. And so I was a little resistant. But I had a very casual conversation with a great career coach who pulled from me without even really realizing what was happening. You talk a lot about interiors. Like every time you talk about some point in your life, you're talking about, the office that you helped renovate and the cottage you helped renovate and your friend's condo that you helped and you redecorated this and like, oh, oh yeah, I guess yeah, that did happen.
Right. Right.
When I speak about these other joys in my life, I lit up apparently.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, okay, okay. And it gave me some direction. And I didn't know if it would work,
Right.
but it gave me something to look forward to because I didn't have to look back.
A career coach is really important.
Absolutely. Again, I had a great support system who steered me in the right direction. I was ready to be steered though.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
I, nec- I
So
wasn't
you're open.
I was open. I was like, I felt like I was at rock bottom. I'm like, I will take any hand that is reaching out to me.
Right. Do you believe you did it at the right time and you were more mature to be able to take on what came after that?
Yeah, absolutely. We choose careers at such a young age. We don't know enough about the world. We
Right.
don't know what we want from the world. We
Right.
don't know how we want to operate and exist and move through the world,
Right.
much less choose a career that we're now going to sit behind. The point at which I had met with this career coach, I knew that whatever I had already done was done. I could not go back to that industry. I knew that the toxicity existed in different ways in other places. It's also the beauty industry. It's really hard to age within some of these industries.
Right.
You can keep
Right.
it tight for as long as you want, but your time is limited.
Right.
And so I'm looking at being in my mid 40s in an industry that was changing,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to be there anymore. And so I had already made that decision that it was no longer for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything else. I thought I didn't know anything else.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh no, you do.
You do.
These are transferable skills
Mm-hmm.
and into something you clearly already love. Now
Right.
just go." And I was like, "Okay, okay." I didn't even think twice. She just told me what I needed to hear exactly when I needed to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What would you say to somebody that's looking at you and then being, just like in awe and they want to do exactly what you do at this stage? What would you say to them?
Well, I'll tell you this little tidbit. There are a lot of us out there at this age looking to blow it all up. And I would say, do it now while you're able bodied to
Mm.
do it. Things are getting harder.
Very hard.
There's
Right.
no doubt. We're, you know, cricking and cracking and it's not necessarily harder to learn. I learned that.
Right.
I thought I'm going to be a terrible student.
Hmm.
I don't know how to go back to school. I learned that imposter syndrome is really, really real. But there's no age at which you stop learning. You just figure out how to learn effectively. When you're in school, you're like, I don't even know what's happening.
Right. But you're just going through it
We
day to
just,
day.
we didn't have the tools back then either.
Right.
We did not have any of the tools they have today. And learning was very difficult for me,
Hmm.
very different. I learned as an adult how to learn. And I came out of school, in honors. I've never had an honor anything in my life. And it was shocking, but do it when you're ready to do it.
Mm.
Don't
Mhm.
wait.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. I mean, it gets harder because life gets harder.
Right.
You've got to provide. Not everybody has the privilege of being able to take the time to learn. But there's night classes, there's TDSB classes, like little one-nighters a week. Anything that gets you a little bit closer to bringing some of that joy back to we spend our whole lives working. Why shouldn't it be joyful?
Or did you feel like a failure at any point?
As far as I was concerned, I had already failed myself
Oh, wow.
by letting it go on for that long.
Oh, for that long. Okay.
And so if I had already done that,
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, I was ready to take the hand wherever it was coming. And one of the options I was given was to reschool. And I said, I'm going to do it.
Oh, wow.
And people were like, you don't need to go back to school. Just go do it. I was like, you know what? One of the ways to squash the imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
do a little education, micro education, major education, do whatever you can. Like immerse yourself in the thing that's going to bring you joy.
Right.
I cannot say the word joy enough because really work should not feel so hard, especially in this age.
Right.
We don't want any of that anymore.
So it wasn't really hard for you then to change careers because you already had that mindset
It's
like
like,
going to school is not a problem. I'm not going to look like a failure. Where did that stigma come from, do you think?
you're too old. You can't restart.
Right.
A lot of it has to do too with, being a Gen Xer, being brought up, thinking you have to stick with it no matter what, get the pension, retire one place. But we are more into the, feeling good at the end of the day, enjoying our lives. So why are we trying to work the way our parents worked?
Their outlet was I'm doing it for you.
There are firm walls and barriers
Yes. Yes.
to what you're allowed to get away with.
Uh-huh.
And because of that,
Right.
automatically I'm going to rebel against it.
Yes.
So I was almost instantly destined to do things the hard way
Mm.
because everything was so strict. So then when I was able to make those decisions, like, you know what? No, I rebelled then.
Mhm.
I'm going to do it again now. So I rebelled against staying with the job that is making me miserable.
Now that you made that change, you have two careers. What skill set that you brought from your first career to make it easier on your second career?
When you are dealing with clients
Mm-hmm.
in both industries,
Mm-hmm.
the more you see them, the more you listen to them, the more you can discern what they need. One of the things that I was always able to do really well is see a person not just for what they are asking me for,
Mhm.
what do they need from me? So if I'm listening and I hear and I'm really hearing what they need from me, it's so easy to turn that around.
Mm.
So it's that client interaction and my ability to listen and to decipher what it is that they don't have the words to explain to me. They don't have the professional lingo.
Right.
So now I have to kind of just listen for little hints.
Right.
What is it that I need to give them? What is it that they really want in their life?
Mm-hmm.
What can I?
And so, what is your work about now?
In interiors, we live in our homes as though we're ready to move out, or I have to keep its resale value.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to live in their homes as though it's a representation of them. They're being engulfed by the things that they love. Walk into most homes and they're kind of gray, they're neutral. You just sound like,
Right.
but where is your art?
Where is your art?
Where is your personality in all
Right.
this? When you are ready to lean into your love of pink and tiger print wallpaper,
Mhm.
come to me.
You say something like you make spaces for people to get hugged or
Yes.
spaces for hugging.
Yes.
Why is that important to you?
When you walk into a space that feels like your mind has exploded onto the walls,
Mhm.
it's you're enveloping yourself in your own hug. Decorate around the things that you love,
Okay.
that when you walk in, you feel like yourself when you're in.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. So part of your dealing and your healing with all of the trauma around you, do you add that to when you're actually working with a client to help shape their designs?
Absolutely. Let's say they work from home.
Right.
How can I make that chaos feel a little bit less anxious?
Right, right,
And so as I'm talking to them and I'm getting to know them, I'm trying to solve problems they didn't even know needed to be solved.
right. What's a good skill set that they can fall back on that you fell back on to actually make that change?
If you're going to take the leap into something completely different,
Mhm.
the skill set is to expand your skill set.
Mm.
If I was going from, let's say I was in nursing and I want to go into interior design, you want to test the waters first.
Right.
Again, it goes back to like, can you do some micro classes, some online courses? Can you go to an interior trade show?
Right.
Do you like being around these people? Are
Right.
you seeing things that you like? Can you visualize yourself in that industry?
Right.
However, if they're aligned industries, you'll already know. The string is already being pulled. You're like, I can see myself there because we have aligning skills. So the skill set doesn't necessarily exist, you know, in this exact way. It's what are you doing to change your skill set or recognize what skill set moves over?
Right. What do you say about that person that's like, "Oh, I should have done this. I missed my opportunity." Is their opportunity really missed?
Never,
Never.
never. Even if it's a side hustle, the
Mhm.
opportunity is there.
Mm.
Not everybody has the privilege of being able to change over. Not everybody has the financial security to change over. But it doesn't mean you can't start dabbling. There are so many free ways to dabble in joy that eventually will take you where you want to go.
Right.
So the person is like, it's over, I'm done. This is where I'm gonna. No,
Right. Right.
that is wrong. And that is a defense mechanism.
Mm.
That is avoidance.
Oh,
And if
okay.
they really look at it, they're like, all right, can you really not change? Or is it just really hard to think about changing?
Like, what do you say to yourself after you've kind of now got over that whole hump and now you're sitting around? Do you like pat yourself on the back and like, shit, I'm the shit? Like,
I wish I still have like loads of feelings. Like, why didn't you do this sooner? You could have been acing this sooner. But I think I'm doing this exactly how I want to right now.
right.
So had I done it earlier, I might have been hustling in that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But because I am the age that I am, why didn't you do this sooner? You could have been acing this sooner. But I think I'm doing this exactly how I want to right now.
Right.
So had I done it earlier, I might have been hustling in that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But because I am the age that I am now more discerning. I'm like, no, thank you.
Right. Right.
Yes, please.
Right.
That works. That does not work for me.
Mm.
Whereas when you're younger, you take everything and you think, I have to do everything. I have to take in everything. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
You get to this age, and I'm like, I don't have to do shit.
Don't have to do shit.
It is. So if you could have one of those weights lifted off and you could be the person who did that for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, then you pat yourself on your back. Like, I lifted that weight off myself.
Okay. So where can we find some of your works? Like, hey, I love her attitude. I want somebody to design my place with that type of attitude. They'll bring the best out of me. How do they connect with you?
Well, right now, mostly I'm on Instagram.
Right.
Where it's Jackie Jeffrey Home.
Mhm.
And you can see snippets of my work there. And usually I'm busy working, so I don't have a huge amount of time to update it.
Right.
But the things I'm really proud of, I make sure to make time for because I think
Right.
those projects really represent what I want to give to the rest of the world.